Hey, family. Welcome back. It's Brittany. Hey, your manifesting mentor. I'm not a coach. I'm not a guru. I'm a woman who walks this walk and who shares what works. We are back with part 3 of chapter 12 of Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And we're talking about upgraded biochemistry, how the body naturally becomes a supernatural pharmacy when aligned with the divine. So, this chapter is all about the pineal gland. Dr. Joe explains that under elevated states created during deep meditation, the pineal gland begins to release a different kind of melatonin. So, it becomes chemically upgraded, creating metabolites that are anti cancer, anti aging, anti inflammatory, and even I don't even know how to say that word, hallucinogenic. There we go. In nature, right? But in other words, when you activate this inner system, your body starts producing compounds that let you access altered states of awareness, not through drugs or shrooms or psychedelics, but through intentional breath and frequency. And by the way, it is comparable to that, all of those things. So you're tuning into the field of intelligence that literally creates worlds. Let's get into it. When melatonin gets an upgrade, magic happens. When your pineal gland or third eye is awakened, because it's picking up higher frequencies, these higher energies alter the chemistry of melatonin. The higher frequency, the higher the frequency, the greater the alteration. In this translation of information into chemistry that primes you for those transcendental mystical moments, I don't know what I just read. It's this translation of information into chemistry that primes you for those transcendental moments. I think I want to do that over. Let's start over. Three, two, one. Hey, family, it's Brittany. Hey, your manifesting mentor. I'm not a coach, I'm not a guru, but I'm a woman who walks the walk and who shares what works. We're back in part 3 of chapter 12 of Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this part might be my favorite part because we're talking about upgraded biochemistry, how the body literally becomes a supernatural pharmacy when aligned with the divine. So Dr. Joe explains that under elevated states created during deep meditation, the pineal gland begins to release a different kind of melatonin. It becomes chemically upgraded, creating metabolites that are anti cancer, anti aging, anti inflammatory, and even hallucinogenic in nature. So you don't need shrooms or psychedelics or anything else to get there. In other words, when you activate this inner system, your body starts producing compounds that let you access altered states of awareness, not through drugs, but through internal and intentional breath and frequency. You're tuning in to the field of intelligence that literally creates worlds. Let's get into it. When melatonin gets an upgrade, magic happens. When your pineal gland or third eye is awakened, because it is picking up higher frequencies, these higher energies alter chemistry of melatonin. The higher the frequency, the greater the alteration. It is this translation of information into chemistry that primes you for those transcendental mystical moments. Now you're opening the door to higher dimensions of space and time. This is why I like to call the pineal gland an alchemist, because it transmutes melatonin into some very profound, radical neurotransmitters. Take a look at figure 12.10. As higher frequencies and higher states of consciousness interact with the pineal gland, one of the first things to happen is that these frequencies transmute melatonin into chemicals called benzodiazepines. I think I said that, butchered that. Benzodiazepines are a class of drugs from which Valium is created and anesthetize anesthetize the analytical mind. So all of a sudden, the thinking brain relaxes and stops analyzing. According to the functional brain scans, benzodiazepines suppress neural activity in the amygdala, the brain's survival center. This limits chemicals that cause you to feel fear, anger, agitation, aggression, sadness, or pain. Now your body feels calm and relaxed, but your mind is awakened. Another chemical created from melatonin produces a class of very powerful antioxidants called, called pinolines. Pinolines or pinolines are important because they attack free radicals, which harm your cells and cause aging. These antioxidants are anti cancer, anti aging, anti heart disease, anti stroke, anti neurodegenerative, anti inflammatory, and antimicrobial. That's a perfect formula to upgrade melatonin's normal role as an antioxidant to the role of a supercharged antioxidant that further restores and heals the body to a greater degree than the melatonin molecule normally does. See the powerful antioxidants listed in figure 12.10 that are all produced from metabolites of melatonin. If you take the molecule and tweak it again into a cousin of melatonin, you find the same chemical that makes animals hibernate when melatonin, which makes us sleepy and dreamy, alters just slightly into this more powerful molecule. It carries a message to extend rest and repair even further. This message also causes the body's metabolism to slow down in some cases for months. It makes sense then that when the mammals hibernate, they break the typical habits of their habitat. For example, they lose their sex drive, their appetite, their interest in or need to move about in their environment, and their connection to social networks. They hide to protect themselves and to feel safe. And during this time of going within, their body goes into stasis. The same might be true for us as these values elevate. Because the body is no longer the mind, we temporarily lose our interest in our outer world. And because we have no biological drives that aren't distracted with bodily needs, we're able to move more fully into the present moment and go deeply within. If you're going to dream the dream of the future, wouldn't it be a good idea to get your body out of the way? Yeah. If you take that molecule and advance it yet again, you produce the same chemical found in electric eels, a phosphorescent bioluminescent chemical that amplifies energy in the nervous system. You can refer to figure 12.10 again. This chemical can be powerful enough to cause a significant shock. I have a strong hunch that this is a rare chemical that influences the brain to process those increased amplitudes of energy that we've repeatedly measured in our students. Just imagine an electric eel that literally lights up with energy when it gets stimulated. That's what happens in the brain when it gets activated. But that energy and information that are created do not come from an experience in our environment that we perceive through our senses, but instead from within the brain, caused by an upgrade in frequency. When we see those high energy levels in the brain, we know that person is having a profound subjective experience that can be measured objectively. Think about that for a moment. Via sensory input from our environment through our eyes, the pineal gland makes serotonin and melatonin. This visible light coming from the sun causes us to move into harmony with our environment, which we call the circadian rhythm. As a result of this process, serotonin and melatonin carry information equal to the frequency coming from the physical world. Because we perceive visible light through our senses, those molecules are inherent to humans. Thus, they are equivalent to the realm of our three-dimensional reality. Remember, as Einstein said, that the ceiling of this material world is the speed of light. But what happens as the brain processes an increased frequency and information from a realm beyond the senses and beyond the speed of light? Is it possible that information and energy coming from the unified field change the chemistry of melatonin to become another chemical counterpart in the brain? And could our brain translate those frequencies into messages? If energy is the I can't even say this word, epiphenomenon of matter, it makes sense that the information coming from a frequency faster than visible light would then be able to alter the molecular structure of melatonin into profound elixirs within the brain. The pineal gland is responsible for translating that information into a chemical variation of melatonin. Therefore, that molecule carries a different message equal to that frequency. That new frequency is now influencing an enhanced superchemical that's no longer natural, that's supernatural. Melatonin gets an upgrade. Not only does this phosphorescent bioluminescent chemical increase the energy in the brain, but it enhances the imagery in the mind internally that the mind internally perceives so that everything looks as though it's made of vivid, surreal, luminescent light. As a result, people have reported experiencing colors they've never seen before because they exist outside of their known experience of the visible light spectrum. These colors appear as profound, otherworldly, glowing lights in a technicolor, lucid, opalescent world of suspended beauty. Everything appears as if it's emitting beautiful light made of vivid, radiant energy that you can feel. This world of golden, shimmering, bright halos within and around everything appears more illuminated than your sensory based reality. And of course, it will be difficult to take your attention off of all of this beauty because all of your attention is on the experience. It will seem as though you're actually there, totally present in this other world or dimension. Take a look at figure 12.10 again. Alter melatonin one more time, and you produce the chemical dim- dimethyltryptamine, DMT. Y'all know what DMT is. I probably didn't pronounce it right, but you know what it is. One of the most powerful hallucinogenic substances known to man. This is the same chemical found in ayahuasca. See, a traditional spiritual plant medicine used in ceremonies by the indigenous people of the Amazon. DMT's primary active ingredient is said to create spiritual visions and profound insights into the mystery of the self. When ayahuasca or other plant chemicals containing this molecule are ingested, the body receives only DMT. But when the pineal gland is activated, it receives a whole blend of aforementioned chemicals, and this causes some very profound inner experiences. Some of these experiences have been reported to create profound time dilation. Time appears infinite. Time travel, journeys to paranormal realms, visions of complex geometric patterns, encounters with spiritual beings, and other mystical interdimensional realities. Many of our students during the pineal gland meditation report amazing encounters beyond their known physical world. When these chemicals are released in the brain, the mind has experiences that appear more real than anything that a person has ever encountered in their sensory based reality. This new dimension is difficult to articulate with just language. The novel experience that results will occur as a complete unknown if you surrender to it. It's always worth it. So, magic becomes real when we understand the science behind it. And this is why I love Dr. Joe Dispenza so much. Because as I've mentioned, I've learned from the Nevilles, the Abraham Hicks, the Bashars. And although I believed everything they say, a lot of it is far fetched. It's beyond me. But when Dr. Joe breaks it down into quantum physics and all the other sciences that we discuss in this book, it makes it actually really tangible, really real, and attainable. So that's what this chapter is showing us. And we're only halfway through this chapter, by the way. Be sure to check out the playlist here on YouTube. It's linked in my bio on TikTok. And if you're just joining the series, and tune into my upcoming live sessions for more breakdowns and reflections. It's all linked in the playlist, all in order, there for you when you're ready. You don't want to miss what's coming next. We're going to be talking about how to tune into higher dimensions through the pineal gland as a transducer. So, see you in the next video, guys.